In this behind the scenes video, I want to share with you how we're planning to create pre-vis animation that we're going to use when filming Bash, and then also how we're going to take this pre-vis performance and bring that into our layout ready for animation further down the line. So anyone who's used Unreal before will probably recognize this map. It's in the preset third-person game mode level in Unreal, and we've put together a game character of Bash where he can run around, jump, trot, sit, he can do all sorts, and it's all controlled by a game controller. So our plan is that we're going to use this as a way of turning Bash into an interactive actor for shot planning and pre-vis. So here I've done a quick photogrammetry scan of the kitchen, just to use this as a testing stage to try out this process, and I thought it'd be fun to try and get Bash to record a couple of takes of a test shot that we could then take all the way through the pipeline into layout, where it would then get picked up by animation. So what's great about this is because the game engine has a set speed for how quickly Bash can run and walk, it's going to really help us understand the actual timing of shots and performances, so we know how far it takes him or how long it takes him to walk around the room, which is really cool. And we're also able to control him interactively, which is giving us this ability to play with different ideas and trying to improvise in the moment. And we can see those results instantly, play it back, and then try something different. So here I'm just moving the camera around to get a feel for how this shot might be framed. I'm thinking what we could do is Bash could start off in the bed over by the kitchen island, and then he could come over to the sofa where Tim would be sitting and then jump on it and be like staring right in his face. So I'm just having to play around, getting used to the controls, and then once I'm happy I can start to try recording some takes. And what's really helpful is I can trigger the recording from the controller as well, just by pressing the start button. So it's a really quick way for me to do multiple takes, try out different ideas, and get in a sort of a flow with it without having to do any kind of like stopping, starting, and exporting things out and loading it into a video to watch. There's none of that kind of clunky technical stuff. It's all just really simple, creative, fluid, and it's all about just trying to remove those kind of like friction elements within the pipeline so that things can just be as creative as possible. So after I'm happy with the take, if I want to, I can actually clean up the movement a bit. So for example, I'm not really that smooth on the controller, so there's some like twitchy bits where I've moved him and he's kind of like turned really sharply. So if I wanted to, I could just go through the animation curves from that recorded movement and just smooth things out. But the thing to bear in mind here is we're not creating final animation. This is stuff that won't ever get seen by the audience later down the line. This is all basic pre-vis animation, so it's pre-visualization. It's a draft idea that's there to demonstrate the timing, the movement, and the placing of Bash, so that we get an understanding of where he is in the shot and how he's going to be moving. So now let's take a look at how this will work in the JetSet app whilst we film. So my first step is going to be to line up the 3D world with the real world. So I've brought in the photogrammetry set that we had in Unreal, and that's inside the app now, and I can line it up and get it as close as I can to the real world. Now I did this scan fairly quickly, so it might be slightly inaccurate to the real world dimensions, but it's looking close enough for a test anyway. And another tool we have in JetSet is we can actually do a scan in there using the iPhone's LiDAR scanner, and this is going to be a great help for us to make sure everything lines up later in the pipeline. So this scan that I'm doing here is going to be exactly in the right spot relative to any camera recordings I do, so that when I go into Maya later down the line I can just line that up with the scene and make sure everything lines up nicely. Mabel didn't want to move, so she gets to be part of the scan too, I guess. So now everything is lined up and we've got everything in place. We can start playing around with Bash and see how he looks in the scene, how he's moving around, ready to begin working out our framing and start recording. So here's a side-by-side of the take that we recorded in Unreal Engine and the take that I've recorded using the app. So you can see just how it's been transferred into the camera for filming. So here we have in Maya the original scan of the set, as well as a recorded take of Bash that we used to film the shot. So I've hidden the scene geometry for now to focus on the camera track and the backplate. This is what I brought in from JetSet. So this is the camera track that was recorded whilst we were filming through the JetSet app. And it's got the image plane of the video attached to it as well. So now I can just check that everything's lining up and the timing of the camera movement is matching the performance of Bash, which looks pretty good from here. Here I'm just toggling the visibility of the environment on and off just to check that the plate is lining up with the scene. So this is really important for lighting, that we get the scene geometry lined up as accurately as possible to what the video shows, so that all the reflections and shadows, they all need to sit correctly in the shot, and that's all heavily based on where the scene geometry is. So one thing that really helps with this is that LiDAR scan data that we took. It's helping us easily line up the scene to the scene geometry, so we're really close, and then it's just about tweaking it to make sure that it's as close as possible. And this is looking pretty good, I think. And so now all I have to do is bring the actual Bash character rig into the scene, and then this layout would be ready to then send to the animator, and they'd use the Bash character rig to begin animating the performance based on that pre-vis performance. And so this is going to be the way we set up all our shots from this point forwards. It's going to be a really creative way to get these kind of shots planned and set up, and we're really excited to bring this into our pipeline.